AITA for canceling my aunt's invitation to my wedding when she traveled the world to attend it. My husband and I, 26F, got married 3 weeks ago. My husband is from South Africa but I am French. So our wedding in the savannah in South Africa was a huge trip for the 13 French guests. We rented a beautiful lodge where you see lions, elephants, etc. And to thank everyone for coming all this way, we rented it for 2 days. Day 1, wedding. Day 2, pool party. We only invited 30 people. The people we love. I had a huge argument with my aunt. 38F. 8 years ago and we cut ties ever since. But doing the invitations, I thought about how close we used to be. I decided to invite her. There was no +1 for anyone and so I only invited my aunt. Not her partner or her kids since I barely knew their names. My aunt said she was happy but insisted that we invite them. I told her no, but my mom teamed with her and pressured me a lot during the year. I explained that the ceremony meant everything to us and that we only want people we love to be present. But my aunt booked flights for her but also for her family. She said it was a family trip but added that she heard some of my guests canceled and so that there is now space for her family. I told her that it would not be happening but that her family could join us for the pool party the next day. After that, I got even more pressured by my mom into inviting them for the wedding itself because they are coming all this way, but I kept refusing and tried to finish my dress without my mom. On the big day, after the ceremony, my husband and I left for an hour in the savannah with the photographers to make a few photos. As soon as we came back to the lodge, my aunt came to me, smirking. She was holding her kid. Her partner was behind her. I'm not the scandal type. I didn't know how to react. In my disbelief, I kissed the kid hello and shook hand with her partner. I immediately felt sad for not defending myself. I then heard my mom and grandma telling my aunt about the extra chairs and food we had and that her family must stay for dinner. My sister lied for me, saying we don't have enough chairs because some are broken. So my aunt announced that they were leaving. I asked why leaving with them. She was supposed to stay for the dinner and they are only 5 million away. She replied that she never intended to stay for dinner but that she will spend time with us when they come back tomorrow for the pool party day. I was shocked. I replied that I had a change of plans and that she and her family could not come for the next day anymore. My mom, usually lovely, lost it and told me that I had no right to cancel my aunt's invitation to the pool party. I reminded her that we paid for the whole wedding ourselves and that she has no say in who I host. And I walked away, but she yelled at my back in front of everyone. She was screaming that the conversation was not over and that I better come back. My sister had to physically bar my mom from running after me. I still stood my ground and kept my aunt from coming back the next day. AITA? NTA. Based on the title, I thought, wow, that sounds terrible. But reading the context, your actions make sense. And that's what your aunt and mom counted on. They carefully planned to make you look like the villain when you just ask your aunt to do what every other guest did. NTA. There was absolutely no reason that the child and partner could not have stayed at the hotel lodge while aunt was at the wedding and dinner. Your aunt and her lovely sister, your mother who didn't pay for anything associated with the wedding, were out of line. Kudos to your sister for having your back. Best wishes for a happy marriage. Hugs. Personally, I think it's impolite to only invite half of a couple, let alone a married couple, especially when it's a destination wedding. If you can't afford to invite everyone's partners, then don't pay for everyone. Only pay for close friends and family, and then people can make the choice whether they want to pay. for them and their partner to attend or not. But your aunt and mom were both incredibly entitled and made your wedding about them. If going alone bothered your aunt that much, then she should have declined the invitation. It's generally rude to invite only one person to a destination wedding and not the rest of their family. I've never known anyone who isn't single to travel to a different continent on their own. You should have invited her whole family from the beginning if you were going to invite her. And once you knew they were all traveling together anyway, you should have let them come to the wedding. Yeah, it was rude of her to show up with them anyway, and it was rude of your mom and grandma to tell them it was okay. But this all could have been avoided if you had either invited all of them from the beginning or none of them. You for inviting someone to a destination wedding without a +1. With no regard for the time, effort and expense involved for them and the fact that that might be their only opportunity for a family holiday in that year. Your aunt for not simply declining the invite if she didn't like the terms. No one should have put pressure on or made a scene. AITA. It's common courtesy to include a person's spouse in a wedding invitation, especially for a transcontinental destination wedding. Then you doubled down and uninvited them to the pool party that you initially said they could come to. AITA. I don't understand people and their drama with weddings. I would never go to a destination wedding without my husband. If your aunt is going to spend money to go to your wedding, why would she go alone? Your aunt and your mother for making a scene at the wedding. And here I think you mother was worse. You because inviting someone on such a trip, wedding destination not only in another country but also on another continent without your family, is not very polite in itself. And the truth is you didn't want her there anyway, you just had to stick to your opinion and invite only those who didn't mind leaving their families at home. Theoretically, you can do anything because it's your wedding and your party. But in practice it doesn't mean that you are always right just because you are a bride and everyone should understand everything. Who has a destination wedding and doesn't invite couples as couples? Aunt took it too far. But you started this off by being rude and inconsiderate of your guests. What a weird hill to die on. AITA. You cancelled her invite for the following day as retaliation. You invited your aunt with no family invite when she has a small child? That's fine if it's a local wedding. But a wedding that requires significant travel? You make an exception for your aunt or you don't invite her. Yelling and screaming. That is so classy of your mother. Edited. AITA. You emphasized in your post how invites, attendance were only for people that were close and loved. But then decided to send an invite to aunt that you had a falling out with 8 years ago. And used to be really close to. Weddings aren't a time for used to. Better they reflect current relationships and stage of life. Of course this was all going to go poorly and you set the stage for the drama by sending the invite in the first place. Let me get this straight. They didn't attend your wedding and they came to congratulate you and left without staying for dinner. So why are you upset exactly? Is this a first world problem that I am not aware of? AITA and a big one. Everyone is childish. Just a lot screaming and yelling and stamping of feet. AITA for doubling down and making the situation way worse. Not everything has to be a win, you need to choose your battles. That will serve you well in marriage. Instead of the story bring your aunt rudely showed up with uninvited guests. Which by the way married partners are always invited. It's now how you were exclusionary and rude to people who flew around the globe to attend your wedding. I actually think it was pretty rude to ask her to fly from France to South Africa solo without her partner. I'm in the midst of planning my wedding now, and everything I've read says you need to invite spouses, partners, especially for a destination. But she should have just declined. Or brought them for a vacation but had them stay in the hotel. Being sneaky like she was an asshole move. YTA, you had a destination wedding where no one could bring a +1. You sound exhausting and entitled. Surprised anyone showed up.
AITA.
YTA. You already invited her. You were too spineless to stand up to your mother before the invites went out, and now it's too late. After they spent thousands of dollars and traveled so far. I'll never understand why people pull stuff like this. It seems like your aunt had every intention of doing exactly what she wanted to do with your mother's help. And for what? Grudges and entitlement make people do some very ugly things. Did she show up after all that travel and expense just to show you her power? Why didn't your mom care about your wedding being the perfect day for you? Not her sister? It's all just being hateful the sake of doing it. It's all very sad to me, but NTA. It was your wedding and you paid for it. Who participated was up to you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.